It's the International Soccer Preview. We are Soccerphiles Canada. Welcome to Series 31, looking at the players of the 2025 African Cup. This episode is looking at the players of South Africa. Part 2, the selection. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the International Soccer Preview by Soccerphiles Canada. I'm Kevin, and this is a continuation of our Series 31 on the players of the 2025 African Cup. This episode is part 2 of our coverage of South Africa's players, and we move on to Section 3. In Section 3, we want to welcome listeners of the short version of the mediacast here. We're going to do our spotlight review here. That is a race through the squad, reviewing what we covered in Section 2 here, but also basically the list we created in Part 1 there. So let's go back and look at the list that we are finishing with. And we have a manager, or we begin with manager Hugo Bruce, who we kind of treat as a candidate selected for the squad there. So Hugo Bruce will be leading them through the tournament here. No surprises at the goalkeeper level. We had definite candidates, Ronwin Williams and Ricardo Goss. Both of them were selected, as was our likely candidate, Sifo Cheney. We're not going to talk about candidates at the possible level or below unless they were selected for the final squad or there's a surprise that we want to talk about. In this case, there are none. So it was fairly obvious from the beginning. And in terms of starters, we put all of our weight behind Ronwin Williams as a starter. So the 3 stars, if you're looking at the YouTube feed of this, is 3 stars indicating definite here. Central defenders, well, we had no candidates at the definite level, but we had 3 at the likely level. The first, Mbekazali Mbukazi, was selected for the squad, and so was the second one, Nkosinathi Sibisi. However, Rushwin Dortley, our likely candidate, would have been selected, but injury prevented it. So he was put on the preliminary squad, but not called up to the final squad. We had 5 possible candidates. The first one, Siabonga Ngazana, was selected for the squad. The second one, Thabo Molosane, is one of 3 players on the standby squad. And what that means is that they were they're kind of officially on the squad, but they weren't actually brought to Morocco. They will be called in if needed in the case of an injury or something like that. The third one, Kulamani Ndamane, was selected for the final squad, but the last 2 only made the preliminary squad. That's Ime Daniel Okon and Malabongwe Koza. Both of those just on the preliminary squad. We did have a new candidate here, though, Tylon Smith, who was selected for the squad. And we're kind of excited to see what he looks like, because he just made a pretty big move up in his club affiliation. That's the word I'm looking for. So there we go, Tylon Smith. And in terms of starters, we think Mbukazi and Sibisi are likely starters, but we do give a possible 1 star to Tylon Smith. We think he might actually get a start in the first game there. And we really are just talking about the first game, because it gets a bit complicated if we try to go beyond that. Let's move on to left backs. We have a definite candidate in Aubrey Modiba. He was selected for the squad. And we look at 2 possible candidates, Samukalo Kabini, and he was also selected, but the other possible candidate, Fawaz Bazadien, not selected, just selected for the preliminary squad. Here, if you're looking at the YouTube, you can't see the other names there. And you will notice that a lot of the players that are selected, their names are in light grey, indicating they've never been through a tournament. So it'd be good to keep your eye on that if you're looking at the YouTube. Aubrey Modiba, though, has been through a tournament, and I was almost going to move on before talking about starters. But Aubrey Modiba, we consider a possible starter, probably a little more likely than Samu Kali Kabini, but we consider both of those possible starters here on the left. On the right side, we had no definite candidates, but a likely candidate in Kulisu Mudau, and he was selected for the final squad. He's going to be the only one over here. We had two possible candidates, Nyaiko Mobi, or sometimes called Sydney Mobi, and Zuko Umdanyelwa. And neither of those were selected even for the preliminary squad there. So that just leaves us with Kuliso Mudau over here. We're going to call him a definite starter, partly because he's the only one over here, and we're kind of wondering what the backup is for this position, because there doesn't seem to be any obvious backup there. Okay, let's go on upfield to defensive midfielders. Here, players coded that way. There's no definite or likely candidates. We only have the possible candidate, Bathusi Orbas, and he was selected for the final squad. Really, most of the players here are in central midfield. We have two definite candidates, Teboho Mokoena and Thalante Mbatha, both of those selected for the final squad, as was our likely candidate, Svefelo Sitole, also selected for the final squad there. The possible candidate, Luke Leroux, not selected for the final squad, just the preliminary squad for him. In terms of starters over here, well, we expect it to be two positions. It could be three, but two is more likely. And we think Teboho Mokoena is a definite starter. And we think Sitole is a likely starter, and Mbatha a possible starter over here. But most likely Mokoena, we think. And we move on all the way upfield to the left, the attacking midfield position, where we find definite candidate Oswin Apollos, and he was selected, as was our possible candidate Relebohile Mofokeng, selected for the final squad there. Here is our second new candidate coming in, Chandra Campbell, and we're kind of excited about him because he just made a good club move as well. So what we have for predictions here is a likely starter in Apollos, but possible starters in newcomer Campbell and Mofokeng. We actually kind of have a suspicion that Campbell may be a bit more likely than Mofokeng there. Okay, for right attackers, no candidates at the definite level. At the likely level, we have Mohau Nkota, and he was selected for the final squad. But our other likely candidate, Thapelo Morena, a bit of a story behind that one, but just making the preliminary squad there. We have a possible candidate, Percy Tau, only selected for the preliminary squad there. However, the next possible candidate, Chapang Moremi, making the cut, making the final squad there. But Camogallo Sabele Bele, not selected even for the preliminary squad there. However, a possible but unlikely candidate, Ilias Mokwana, was selected for the final squad there. Moving on to central attackers, a position that they do use about 3/4 of the time. We had no definite candidate, but likely candidate Sifo Mbule. And here we get our second standby player, Umduduzi Shabalala, again, on the official roster, but not brought physically to Morocco for the Cup. We had no, we're not going to do candidates below that level. So Sifo Mbule, we consider a likely candidate. If they do use this position, he'll almost certainly, or we think he'll almost definitely be the player. We just think there's a chance that the formation they have won't use this position, and he may not play in that case. Okay, central attackers, and we move on to our last category of forwards, and no candidate at the definite level. Our likely candidate, Ikram Reyners, is our third standby player there. And we had two candidates at the possible level, although they were always more likely to be starters than Reyners. The first one is Lyle Foster. He missed the Cup in 2023. So we thought the same thing might happen this time, but he was selected. And then Evidence Makopa also selected for the final squad. That's all we have here, just two forwards. We consider Lyle Foster a likely starter and Evidence Makopa a possible starter. Perhaps we're being a bit conservative there because Lyle Foster is almost at the definite level there. All right, that brings us to the end of our Spotlight review. That's it. Our business is finished. We are finished. So we go to our closing graphic here, and we hope that our look at South Africa parts 1 and 2 there makes you familiar with the players, which always makes the games a bit more enjoyable to watch. We would like to thank Pixabay and Cold Fingers for the wonderful music used in this mediacast. The title of the piece is Eid Mubarak.